Hey guys, Charles from haltsboots here, and today I'm reviewing the Adidas Predator LL Elite FG. I find it strange that this isn't called the Predator Elite LL 25, being that it came out in 2025, but I don't work at Adidas, so what are you really gonna do? Now I find that this year's Predator is way better than last year's. I didn't really like this one as much. Now there isn't an insane amount of different details to this boot, but I still found that I enjoyed this a lot more. And if I had to pick between the two right now, I know I've worn these more recently, but I'm going with this pair. I wanna give a huge shout out to Soccer USA OKC. They sent these boots out for me to review, and I'm really appreciative of that. If you guys don't know who Soccer USA is, they're a brand out of Oklahoma. They're run by a family. Ramen G is the main guy right now, doing everything behind the scenes, being the face of the company. And really, they just have a lot of great options of boots to choose from. They have a few pairs of classic and retro boots, a lot of limited edition stuff. They're always doing all sorts of crazy deals on last year's models, this year's models, daily deals, anything you can really want, I'm sure they have or can get for you. And even though they are a chain that has 3 stores in Oklahoma, I do think that they are the best reseller on the market right now. They just have everything possible. They take care of their customers, and really whatever you need, they've got. So make sure you go check out Soccer USA OKC's website and as well as their Instagram. If you need anything, give them a shout. The price for the Predator Elite LL is fairly expensive at $270. Now that seems to be the trend overall of boots these days, $250, $260, $270, all the way up to $280, $290. And not really much we can do about that except pray that the prices go down again, but hopefully they don't go up for a while. I'm gonna go ahead and weigh these boots. So the left boot is 193 grams and the right boot is 192, so 1 gram difference there, nothing that I am too concerned about or worried about, so we'll call it 192.5. And I think that the tongue version would be pretty heavy as well, just being that it's gotta have that extra fold over tongue, it's got the laces, the strap, everything like that, but for what this boot is, it's sleek, it's lightweight, and it didn't bother me at all on feet. As far as the sole plate goes, it is the same exact sole plate that's on the Predator 24 Elite laceless. It's the Control Frame 2.0 sole plate. Not one that I am particularly fond of. These studs are just a little bit long for me. Now I do like the shape of the studs. They're conical-ish with a little bit of like triangular shape as well. And I think if they were shorter, they'd be excellent. I never got around to shaving down the studs to see if that would help at all. Just not something I really wanted to do. And last year I was wearing these on turf, the FT version of the 24 Elite, and I actually did my ankle pretty good on this turf. It was pretty decent quality turf too. I just went to take a shot and my foot kind of stayed behind and it kind of went at a little bit of a weird angle and caused a pretty bad sprain that was bothering me for a while. So really I'm only wearing this sole plate this time around on grass. I'm not making that mistake again. When you play with these on grass, if it's more like a Sunday League hard packed surface, I advise you that you just get the AG pair instead. I had a lot of stud pressure where I could just feel all the studs in the forefoot here right up against like the ball of my foot while I was playing. It was very, very uncomfortable. Not something I really enjoyed. So if you've got half decent grass pitches, you'll be fine. But if it's any sort of like bad Sunday League pitch or a turf pitch, just save yourself some pain and get the AG pair. Now the upper still has that nice prime knit collar. You definitely have a little bit of give and play with it here. You can move it around, but it holds and maintains its shape very nicely. That's one thing I worry about when wearing laceless boots, is that the collar and the prime knit or whatever knit material just gets overstretched. Now we also have that same hybrid touch upper as well. I actually really enjoy hybrid touch. It feels like it's about 1 millimeter thick, give or take, of this really nice synthetic material, very plush. Contacting the ball with this boot, especially without the laceless, felt great. I don't know what it is about laceless Predators, but I always have my best training sessions when it comes to shooting with laceless Predators. The best goal in my entire life that I've scored actually came with the laceless Predator accuracy, and it's a very ugly boot. I don't know how, but just anytime I shoot with these laceless Preds, they feel great. So I think it's a mixture of whatever synthetic upper they put in along with this kind of laceless feel just provides a better contact on the ball. The strike skin elements have been switched up as well. There's now a lot less of them, and they wrap around the inside of the boot to kind of the top of the forefoot here. Still nothing on the outside. So the older pair feels like they had a lot more of those rubber strike skin elements. Again, nothing on the outside. I really, really wish Adidas would put some more of the rubber material or elements on the outside of the boot as well. I really like to use the outside of my feet when I play. Maybe one day they'll listen. Please, Adidas. Last year's model had a very minimal ribbed kind of inset or indents in the boot. This year's model has a lot more of that. It wraps all the way around, from basically here all the way around the front of the boot to all the way to the inside of the boot. Now it does feel like there's a little bit of rubber texture. It's not anything like the strike skin elements, but the design is definitely sleeker. I think it just looks a lot cooler. Interesting design, really like it. Comfort, I feel like will be hit or miss for you in the beginning. Later on wearing these, they felt a lot better, but breaking them in early on and just wearing them was a bit uncomfortable. The heel area is really nice. It's very malleable, like most heels are these days. It's not stiff. The only real stiff part here is going to be the heel cup, which comes around and supports that Achilles a little bit. I was fine with that. And then the foam padding as well, that's on the inside of this Predator, is pretty comfortable, I would say. I didn't get any blisters in my heel area. I feel like that's the most common spot for blisters. None of that at all. Was very comfortable in the heel. The issue that I ran into was the toe box area. Maybe it was a little bit cramped. I basically wore these for 15 minutes and got rained out and went home. And then I think later that night or the next day, I wore these for 2 or 3 hours straight, basically brand new and unbroken in. I actually got blisters on the outside of both of my big toes. They were blood blisters underneath my calluses, so that was not fun at all. Didn't have anything on the outside of the boot near like my pinky or where you have wide feet and it really bugs you, like those hot spots. That was pretty much fine. So I wouldn't go ahead and say that this boot is great for wide feet, but it's not terrible either. It just feels really, really stiff until you wear them for the first hour or two. So I would take your time breaking these in. Don't try to rush it at all. Towards the end, the last B-roll session, I didn't have any issues or pain. It was just from that stud pressure down here on the boots. But otherwise, it's got that really nice collar. It fit pretty well. That hybrid touch feels really nice. The heel area, no complaints there. And the insole, if I can get it, is nothing special either. It's just a basic Adidas insole. I wish and I hope that they're gonna start adding padding again to insoles. Boots that have padded insoles with like actual foam deposits, I find are the most comfortable. Like the 11 Pro 3, that's probably the best part of it, and why I have so many pairs is for those insoles. They're just so comfortable, and most boots I wear that I wear long term or in my rotation, I usually slip in the 11 Pro 3 insole just for that padded feature. So hopefully in the future, we'll see some more padded insoles. For size, I would just get your normal Adidas size. I got my typical 9 US and it fit about how I wanted it to. Obviously I had a little bit of blistering issues or whatever, but this is definitely an improvement shape-wise from last year's Predators. So maybe not the best to tell, but it's a bit more rounded near the toe here. It kind of comes up in bubbles, and last year's model you can see kind of dips downward. And this I did not like about last year's Predator. I distinctively remember not liking that kind of rounded down aspect. So the fact that the toe bubbles up a little bit, I think helped immensely with just the fit overall. And I don't think you'll have too many other issues. If you have narrow feet, I still think you're gonna be fine with these. There shouldn't be too many problems or issues. I don't think these will fly off your feet. As for lockdown, typically what I tell everyone when it comes to wearing football boots is that laceless boots kind of have a little bit better touch, maybe a bit more comfortability, but you're losing a little bit of lockdown. This time, I don't think that case was true. These are an extremely difficult pair of football boots to get on. Like you have to use the little, I don't know if I have it up here, the little shoehorn to get these on. Like I physically could not get these on without that shoehorn. So make sure you hold on to that when getting these boots. And I don't think that's a bad thing that they're hard to get on. They're also hard to get off. So that really to me just means, and kind of felt like that the lockdown is where it should be. Now I will say when you go to plant hard to shoot, hit a long ball, pass, whatever, you will have a little bit of your foot moving around. Even with grip socks, I found it wasn't the best thing in the world. But they didn't slide off my feet. So if you're looking for a boot that's laceless, maybe you're a big laceless player, if you've always worn like the laceless X's or something like that, I would try giving these Predators a try. Durability is not something I can comment too much on. I didn't wear these, more than like 6, 7, 8 hours. So hard for me to say what they'll look like in the next 10, 15, 20 hours, right? But there's no separation at the heel here, which is really good. There's no sole separation, nothing near the sides. Last year's Predators, my pair, separated right by the heel cup, my laced version without the tongue. And also last year's versions of Preds, between the laceless, the laced, and the FTs, they were all cracking. The sole plates had some pretty bad cracks. Looks like they've finally fixed that issue if it wasn't already, and I have not had that issue yet. So my final thoughts for the Predator Elite LL 25 is what I'm gonna call it, 25. They're decent. They're a solid pair of football boots. As far as laceless Predators go, I think that they're up there. Definitely better than last year's model. I think better than the Predator Accuracy Plus as well. And then of course the Predator Edge, because that boot sucks. So if you're a fan of laceless Predators, you'll definitely want to pick this up. Lockdown feels like it's the best it's ever been on a pair of laceless Predators. The strike skin elements don't feel like they're too aggressive. Sometimes with those aggressive strike skin elements, I feel like when you're juggling or kicking a ball, kind of like comes back at you a little bit. So that's good. Heel, super soft and comfortable. Braking time, gonna be hit or miss for you depending on your foot shape. But overall, if these were AG, I would definitely continue to wear them. But being that I mostly play on turf and it's not as easy for me to get to grass fields, I'm probably gonna shelve these. And potentially gonna pick up a pair of AG in the laced version of this or the FT version and see how I like them, because I want to try out that AG sole plate. So there you guys have it. That was my review on the Adidas Predator Elite LL 25. If you guys like football boot reviews, facts, videos, anything like that, please make sure to check out the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out Soccer USA OKC's website, their Instagram, and pick up your next pair of football boots there. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.